Hiya! Welcome back to Faye In Stories.
Imagine this. You get arrested for a series of robberies. The police have fingerprints, eyewitnesses, and even evidence from your own apartment. You're cornered. But when they question you, you calmly say, "I didn't do it. And by the way, I'm not Billy."
What do you mean you're not Billy?
Because this man, Billy Milligan, wasn't alone in his own body. Inside him, there were 23 other people, a total of 24 personalities, each with their own memories, their own skills, their own accents, and somehow, their own control of his body.
24 different people living inside one man?
And today, we're diving into his story, The 24 Faces of Billy Milligan, the most famous and maybe the most mysterious case of multiple personalities in modern history. It all began in October 1977 in Ohio. Within just 10 days, 3 bizarre robberies took place near a university campus. On the surface, the method looked identical each time. A man would wait in the parking lot for a loan student. He'd force them into their own car, drive them to a nearby bank, make them withdraw money, and then somehow vanish, as if the trail went cold every single time.
So basically, he never touched the bank directly. He made the victims steal their own money for him?
Exactly. And that's what made it so clever. But even the cleverest plans leave traces. The police compared the victims' statements, checked parking lot cameras, and they got a match. Billy Milligan, a 22-year-old man, recently released on parole just 6 months earlier.
So the guy just got out of prison and immediately went back to crime?
That's what the evidence suggested. His fingerprints were found in one of the victims' cars. The 3 victims independently picked his photo from a lineup. And when police raided his small apartment, they found something strange. Half the room was neatly organized, almost military-level tidy. The other half? Chaos. Dirty clothes, unwashed dishes, empty bottles everywhere. It was like 2 completely different people were living there, inside one single-bedroom apartment.
Creepy foreshadowing.
Exactly. But here's where it gets weird. When police arrested Billy, he didn't resist. He looked calm, almost relieved, but they had no idea. This was just the beginning. Back then, in 1977, almost nobody believed in multiple personalities. To the police, Billy was just another suspect trying to fake insanity. But during his first interrogation, something happened. Billy kept saying he didn't remember anything. And then he said something odd. "If I really did it, I'm sorry."
If? As in, he wasn't sure himself?
Exactly. Even stranger, at one point, Billy refused to answer when they called his name. The detective said, "Billy Milligan," and he just shook his head. "I'm not Billy." Investigators were puzzled. If this guy wasn't Billy, then who was he? And things get weirder. A few days later, Billy was being transferred to a detention center with another inmate. Both of them had their hands cuffed. When the van arrived, Billy's cuffs were gone.
Gone?
Yeah. The inmate riding with him swore he saw Billy unlock the cuffs himself. But when the guards confronted him, Billy looked genuinely confused. What cuffs?
So either he's the world's best actor, or something really strange is going on.
And that wasn't the only incident. Inside the detention center, Billy's mood swung violently. One moment, he was silent and withdrawn. The next, he'd explode in anger, banging his head against the wall so hard the guards thought he was trying to kill himself. So they put him in a restraint jacket to stop him from hurting himself.
Let me guess, he escaped that too.
Not only did he slip out of it, when the guards came back, they found the restraint jacket folded neatly into a pillow, and Billy was sleeping on it peacefully.
He could even get out of a restraint jacket?
For the first time, the detectives realized maybe Billy Milligan wasn't pretending. Maybe they were dealing with something they couldn't explain. During one of the early evaluations, a psychologist asked Billy a simple question. "Can you confirm your ID, please?" Billy frowned. Then softly he said, "That's Billy's ID, not mine. I don't have an ID." The man sitting there wasn't Billy. Chewing on his fingernails, he claimed to be David, a little 8-year-old boy. David talked like a scared child. He said Billy was asleep somewhere inside. He even pointed to his chest. "Billy sleeps here. You can't wake him. If you do, he'll try to hurt himself."
This is unsettling.
David didn't know much about the outside world. He just wanted to stay safe. But when the psychologist asked if someone older could talk, David hesitated and then agreed to get Arthur. Billy's body suddenly straightened. The nervous little boy vanished. And the next voice carried a crisp British accent. "Good afternoon. I'm Arthur."
Arthur sounds like a totally different person.
He was. Arthur spoke calmly and confidently, using scientific terms that Billy could never have known. He explained that he handled medicine, science, and decision-making for the others. Arthur also revealed something chilling.
Billy cannot wake unless all of us agree.
All of you?
Before the psychologist could ask who all referred to, Arthur's posture changed again. This time, he leaned back casually, smirking. Name's Alan. Alan was different from both Billy and Arthur. He cracked jokes, flirted with the female staff, and, most importantly, he was the only right-handed personality. Unlike Billy, who used his left hand, Alan always lit his cigarettes with his right hand. And Alan had another skill that none of the others possessed. He could draw perfect portraits. Whenever a new personality appeared, Alan would sketch their face with uncanny accuracy. Thanks to him, investigators eventually saw what each of Billy's others looked like, even though they all shared the same body. Before doctors met the other personalities, Alan explained how they switched control. According to him, all the personalities inside Billy's mind shared a single space, what Alan once described as a dark house. In the middle of that house was a single beam of light.
A dark house?
They all stood in the dark, surrounding the circle of light. Whoever stepped into that light took over Billy's body.
So it's like a stage spotlight. Whoever's in it becomes the actor.
Pretty much. And here's the key detail. Not everyone could just walk into the light whenever they wanted. Arthur, the scientist with the British accent, was basically the gatekeeper. He decided who could take control, when, and for how long.
Arthur's like the manager?
Yes. Arthur didn't create the personalities, but he acted like the head of security. Without his approval, most of the others just had to wait in the shadows.
That's creepy. It's like dozens of people living in one house, fighting for their turn to be real.
Right, and this also explains something strange the doctors noticed. Whenever Billy switched, his eye focus changed instantly, his muscle tension reset, and sometimes even his dominant hand flipped, all within seconds.
Like watching a body hijack in real time.
But understanding how control worked didn't magically solve the case. The investigators didn't get a full confession because there was no single mind to confess. Each personality only remembered its own role, and even they disagreed on the detail.
So, what we know about the robberies is just a guess?
Exactly. They pieced together the fragments, like shards of a broken mirror. One version of the story went like this. It started with Kevin, a cold, calculating personality who acted like a military strategist. Kevin scouted potential targets, decided when to strike.
So, Kevin was the mastermind?
Exactly. But Kevin never worked alone. Once the plan was in place, he needed others to make it happen. First came Adelana, a shy, soft-spoken 19-year-old whose job was simple but critical. She'd approach the targets, strike up a gentle conversation, and make them lower their guard. Then, Dragan Vadaskovic stepped in, a 23-year-old Serbian personality, physically strong and fiercely protective. Dragan called himself the Protector, and whenever Billy's body was in danger, he came forward without hesitation. When Kevin gave the signal, Dragan would confront the victim, use intimidation or force, and grab the money.
So Kevin plans it, Adelana sets it up, and Dragan actually does it.
Exactly. But what happened next was never part of Kevin's plan. Right after the robbery, before Dragan could hand control back to Kevin, the body suddenly switched to Tommy, a 16-year-old escape expert personality. Tommy only surfaced when Billy's life was at risk. He could slip out of handcuffs and escape straitjackets, dodge cops. Kevin thought the money was safe, but Tommy was burning through it. To Kevin, it was just a cycle. No money, new plan, new robbery.
But isn't Arthur supposed to be the gatekeeper? Shouldn't he have stopped them?
In theory, yes. Arthur was supposed to lock the door whenever danger arose. He managed Billy's core memories and acted as a gatekeeper. But Kevin and Dragan had learned to bypass Arthur entirely. They'd switch controls so fast that Arthur didn't even realize what was happening until it was over.
So Arthur wasn't really in control at all.
It was chaos inside Billy's mind. 4 different people committing coordinated crimes, without any of them fully understanding the big picture. 3 robberies, 10 days, 1 body, and a fractured mind orchestrating it all. But whether that's exactly what happened, nobody knows. Not even Billy. By the time the case reached court, nobody truly knew what had happened. Investigators only had scattered fragments of memory and conflicting testimonies from different personalities. From those pieces, they guessed Billy's roles were divided: the planner, the thief, the muscle, the escape driver.
So the court knew Billy wasn't acting as just one person.
They suspected it, but here's the thing. No one actually knew how many personalities there were or what the full picture looked like.
So, what did the court decide?
Instead of sending Billy to prison, the judge ordered mandatory integration therapy, an attempt to bring all his fragmented identities back into one unified consciousness. But here's where things get fascinating. During therapy, as doctors tried to merge the personalities, they encountered someone unexpected. A new personality known as the teacher. He wasn't like the others. He never took control of Billy's body, never committed crimes, and never fought with the others, almost like an overseer, watching everything. He said he remembered everything. Every single moment from Billy's entire life. Not just what Billy knew, but also what every other personality had seen and done. It was as if someone had finally found the master archive inside his mind.
Like the Google Drive admin of Billy's brain?
Exactly. And the teacher wasn't just passively sitting on information. He was actually teaching the others. Christine, a quiet 3-year-old personality. He gently taught her basic words and letters. Christopher, Christine's 13-year-old brother, impulsive but curious. The teacher guided him through logic and science. Samuel, a personality who identifies as Jewish and is deeply faithful. The teacher often discussed morality and scripture with him.
Wait, so you've got male and female personalities, teenagers, adults, even kids in there. Does that mean they can, date each other?
Nope. Inside Billy's mind, time doesn't flow the same way. Christine will always be 3. Christopher will always be 13. Adelana will always be 19. They don't grow up, and they definitely can't start families.
Good. Otherwise, Netflix would already be pitching a series called Keeping Up with the Personalities.
Trust me, reality's already bizarre enough. But here's the twist. Not everyone agreed on who or what the teacher really was. Some psychiatrists whispered that he might not have always been there, that Billy's mind created him during therapy, as a last-ditch effort to end the chaos and satisfy the doctors. But the other personalities? They insisted the teacher had always existed, that he was simply waiting for the right moment to appear.
So even the key to Billy's mind might be a trick of the mind?
Exactly. And that's what makes this case so haunting. Before we dive into all 24 personalities, we need to step back to where it all began. Billy Milligan was born on Valentine's Day, 1955. His father, a struggling comedian, spiraled into debt and alcoholism. His mother worked nights as a nightclub singer. When Billy was just 3, his father couldn't take the pressure anymore and ended his life.
3 years old? That's brutal.
It didn't stop there. His mother remarried twice. Both stepfathers were abusive. One in particular was violent, tying Billy up and locking him in dark rooms. Those years of chaos, fear, and neglect shattered Billy's fragile sense of self.
So that's when the personality started.
Exactly. The earliest split happened around age 3. Billy's mind created others to handle pain, fear, and situations his core self couldn't survive. At 4, after being scolded harshly by his mother, Billy's mind produced Sean, a 4-year-old boy completely deaf, so he wouldn't have to hear the shouting anymore. Later, when his stepfather repeatedly tied him up, Tommy was born, a teenage escape artist.
So his brain basically started hiring specialists.
Exactly. By the time Billy was a teenager, there were 7 or 8 personalities already active. But here's the thing, he had no idea.
Not even a clue?
None. He just thought he had missing time. Days would vanish from his memory. He'd wake up miles away from home with no idea how he got there. By 17, the terror pushed him to the edge. He climbed to the top of a building, ready to jump. And that's when Reagan appeared for the first time. This new personality literally stopped him from ending it all. From that moment, Billy, the original personality, fell asleep. And for years, the others took over his life. Through therapy, doctors mapped out the core team, 10 personalities who shaped Billy's daily life, especially the crimes. Billy Milligan, the host personality, emotionally fragile, completely unaware of the other 23 personalities. His memories stop at 17, the moment before the suicide attempt. Arthur speaks with an upper-class British accent, a scientist at heart, fascinated by medicine and biology. The logical gatekeeper decides who gets control of the body, can read Arabic and Slavic languages. Regan Vadaskovanic, 23-year-old Yugoslavian, speaks Serbian and Croatian. Master of hand-to-hand combat and weapons, represents anger and protection. Alan, smooth-talking, charming, the people person, the only right-handed personality, and the only smoker, draws portrait sketches of other personalities. That's how therapists first saw them. Tommy, 16 years old, the escape expert, loves electronics, mechanics, and painting landscapes, calm under pressure.
Danny,
A 14-year-old boy terrified of men, developed after repeated trauma from his stepfather, avoids confrontation at all costs. David, the keeper of pain, an 8-year-old boy who takes the physical suffering so other personalities don't have to. Christine, a shy 3-year-old little girl with a slight stutter, loves drawing flowers, symbolizes Billy's lost innocence. Christopher, Christine's 13-year-old brother personality, protective, curious, and frequently argues with Arthur about decisions. And the last primary personality, Adelana, a 19-year-old woman, quiet and withdrawn, writes poetry and dreams of romance, known for subtly taking control of the body without permission. Then there were the hidden ones, personalities Arthur disapproved of and tried to keep locked away.
first one.
Philip, rebellious New Yorker, criminal tendencies, Brooklyn accent.
Kevin,
Meticulous planner, designed robberies.
Walter, Australian hunter, incredible sense of direction.
April, young woman obsessed with revenge against the abusive stepfather. Samuel, devout Jewish personality, quotes scripture constantly. Mark, the zombie, ideal for repetitive, mindless work. Steve, the comedian, sharp-tongued, imitates others perfectly. Lee, prankster, creates chaos for fun, not violence. Jason, surfaces during overwhelming anger, then forgets everything. Bobby, loud, show-off type, not the brightest.
Sean, 4-year-old deaf boy, shuts out unwanted words.
Martin, liar and boaster, exaggerates achievements. Timothy, dreamer, obsessed with escaping to freedom. And the last one, the teacher, the integrated personality, possessing all memories and full self-awareness.
24. That's not a personality disorder. That's an entire Netflix cast.
Exactly. And yet somehow they managed to coexist, not peacefully, but with just enough structure to survive together in one body. Even after the trial, the therapy, and everything we thought we knew about Billy Milligan, there are still mysteries no one has solved.
Like what?
For one, even after the personalities were integrated, doctors reported strange blackout episodes, moments when Billy would lose time, and nobody, not even the teacher, could explain who was in control.
Wait, does that mean there might be someone else?
That's the theory. Some experts whispered about a hidden 25th personality, a presence that never spoke, never showed itself, but might have been there all along, watching everything. Billy Milligan died in 2014, taking his secrets with him. Officially, the case closed with 24 personalities. Unofficially, no one can prove if that was truly the whole story.
So maybe there was never a 25th.
Or maybe the one person we never met was the one pulling the strings the whole time. Dissociative identity disorder, DID, is a real and serious condition. This story is about one of the most controversial cases in history, not a reflection of everyone who lives with DID.